Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Wealthologist Weekly, your go-to guide for navigating the intricate world of wealth management and financial planning. I'm Chris Hobart, your host from Hobart Wealth. And today, since it is Valentine's Day, I guess we're going to spread a little bit of financial love and wisdom, and we're going to talk about the exciting area of the Congressional Budget Office. Because last week they released some new projections for the next decade that are causing a pretty big stir in the financial world. But before I dig too deep into that, I want to break it down a little bit, and then we'll get into the nitty gritty. Now, the CBO now projects a deficit of 6.4% of GDP in 2033, which is down from the prior forecast of 7.3%. Hooray! And a total accumulated debt by 2033 is now expected to be 114% of GDP instead of 119%. Now, no doubt this sounds like a bit of a win. I want to be clear. It's still not really great news. Some people might be saying, well, hey, at least it's less bad, right? But before we break out the champagne, I need you to understand and recognize that these projections are probably a bit too optimistic. You see, the CBO assumes the end of all the tax cuts enacted in 2017 without considering any of the negative effects that it may have on the economy. Well, let's just say that's probably wishful thinking. Now, here's the kicker. Keeping those tax cuts fully in place, well, they might make it really challenging to meet the CBO's revenue projections. No doubt. And if we're taxing the economy at lower rates than what the CBO is predicting, then it's obviously safe to say that we're going to be collecting less revenue than expected, and we're not going to hit their goals. So where does this leave us? Well, regardless of what politicians promise us on the campaign trail, and we all know we're going to hear a lot of stuff in the coming months, both parties are going to need to find ways to rein in deficits in the years ahead. Whether it's a GOP sweep or a Democratic victory across the board, tough decisions are going to lie ahead. Now, if the GOP takes the reins, we could see measures like curbing green energy subsidies or maybe imposing more tariffs, as well as Medicaid reform. Now, on the flip side, if there's a Democratic sweep, that might lead to a range of different types of tax hikes, which could include raising income taxes, maybe capital gains taxes, and maybe introducing something like a carbon tax as well. But here's the thing. Who says one side's going to win and the other's going to lose? There's a good possibility of a mixed government in 2025-26, where both parties could actually hold pretty significant positions of power. Now, there's good and bad behind that. What we got to do is brace ourselves for some intense political showdowns where oftentimes not a lot gets done. The question is, will Speaker Hakeem Jeffries easily concede to a Republican president's demands, or would a Republican president dare to test the Supreme Court by refusing to spend money that Congress has pledged? Who knows? A lot of questions are going to be coming up in the coming months and coming years. The reality is, it is a turbulent political landscape, folks. And amidst all the chaos, entitlement reforms and deficit reduction, it actually might take a back seat, which means that we're going to be leaving the bond villains plenty of room to stir up trouble. And that is what we've got to plan for. Now, that's all for this Valentine's Day. Just a little bit of insight as to what happened last week with the CBO. Remember, I want you to stay informed, stay vigilant, and stay tuned for more insights into the world of wealth management and financial planning. Until next week's version of the Wealthologist Weekly, this is Chris Hobart signing off. Take care, and may your portfolios be prosperous, and may you have a very happy Valentine's Day.